Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode in our AEW series in TEW2020. I, of course, am Sierra Daredevil, bringing you all the live action on this first week of May in 2020, in game-wise, as we are 2 weeks out from Double or Nothing. We have this episode of Dynamite, we have next week's episode of Dynamite, and then we are at Double or Nothing, where, of course, we have all of the championships in AEW on the line. The world title is on the line as Pac defends against Jay Lethal. The international championship is on the line for the first time ever in a six-way ladder matchup with Johnny Gargano, The Blade, MJF, Shane Strickland, Angelico, and Mark Quinn battling for it. We, of course, have the tag team titles on the line as the Young Bucks are getting their final shot at the tag team titles. If they do not win the tag team titles at Double or Nothing, they will never challenge for them again as they challenge the Dark Order. And, of course, the women's world title is on the line as well as Alexis Kaufman defends against the former champion, who she took it from, the Bunny. We, of course, have other matches happening on that show. A lot of chaos going to be happening, and we are going to dive into action here. Do want to bring up a brief note. I know last week I promoted the potential of having a Mia Yim versus Hikaru Shida match happening on this show. That match is actually going to be delayed. I wouldn't put the show together and then realized partway through that, or after I'd booked just about everything, that I didn't have the time for that match. With everything I wanted to do here, however, so that match I believe is going to happen next week on Dynamite. I know I said it last week when that challenge got kind of answered. I know I said that it was tentatively going to be this week. It won't be. It is going to be on the Go Home show of Dynamite for Double or Nothing. So, but there you go. So there's that. We're going to dive into our unofficial dark and get things going. We open up with Lee Moriarty defeating Austin Gunn in 7:23 by submission. 54 for Moriarty, 32 for Austin Gunn, 49 rating for the match itself, in front of 3,857 people at the DB Mound field that we're used to doing. Yeah, not too bad of a match here. Pretty decent way to start off dark. Like I've mentioned a few different times now, I probably need to get Moriarty some more Dynamite screen time. I'm in the process of getting him something going, but for the moment, this is where he's kind of at. So he gets a victory here over Austin Gunn on Dynamite, or on Dark, that is. Continuing on with Dark, we have Penelope Ford defeating Kylie Ray in 7:13 by pinfall to Super Bad Cutter. 39 for the match, Ford with a 35, Kylie Ray with a 37. Not too bad of a matchup. Ford seemed to offer game, could have been a little bit better, but I'll take it. It's a dark match featuring two talent who are in our women's division, but are kind of lower down the card at this point, just getting, trying to get opportunities, kind of build them up a little bit better. So Ford gets a victory here over Kylie Ray. After that, we have a segment where Dalton Castle gets a brief interview with Andrea Ocampo. He's kind of hyping himself up, talking about not being on Double or Nothing right now, but wanting to get opportunities heading forward here. Got a 37. I kind of did this a little bit on purpose, because I'm trying to get a little rough estimate of where Andrea's stats and popularity are right now and what she's doing to ratings for segments. Because Dalton by himself can pull off like 50-something for segments, so she's still kind of bringing it down a fair amount. Maybe not 50s. He might be able to get like mid to upper 40s at this point, but whatever. But it is progress. It is progress that we're working with her, so. Then we got a 44 rated matchup that sees 1/3 of 3 Elite Io Shirai defeat Alice Crawley in 7:20 by pinfall with a Magica de Io. 47 from Io, 31 from Crawley, 44 rated for the match itself. Of course, Io Shirai and Kairi Hojo set to team up at Double or Nothing against I almost said Mercedes Martinez, against Mercedes and her mystery partner. So we'll have to see who that mystery partner ends up being. I can give you a slight spoiler. It's not going to be revealed tonight. It probably won't be revealed until the pay-per-view itself. But yeah, we'll have to see where that is. But Io Shirai picking up a victory here. Getting a little bit more momentum on 3 Elite side ahead of that tag match. Then the main event of Dark gets a 41 rating. Probably not the match to put in the main event, but that's alright. as Mansoor defeats Kip Sabian in 907 by submission, 41 rating. 36 for Mansoor, 39 from Kip Sabian. So yeah, just a nice little victory there for Mansoor as well, getting him a little momentum. Hope for a little bit better in-ring performance from him with that, but that's fine. We'll work on that in the future. All right, so it is time for Dynamite, and we hear the "It's Wednesday, you know what that means." Actually, we don't hear that because in this world, Brody Lee hasn't come to AEW. In this world, we get the pre-Brody entrant or opening for Dynamite. And everybody's getting all excited, you know, the commentators are kind of running things down. When all of a sudden we get told that there's a huge thing in the back happening. And oh my god, what the hell is he doing here in All Elite Wrestling? The crowd is losing its mind as there is a camera following a certain individual backstage as he is making his way to the ringside area. Very, just everybody's in complete shock. The crowd's going crazy for this. He then comes out to the ring and grabs a microphone. He says, This right here is All Elite Wrestling. This is the elite of professional wrestling. This is where the elite come to wrestle. How dare anyone in that back, how dare anyone sitting in this arena right now, anyone watching at home, how dare any of you consider this place elite without the biggest and most elite wrestler in the business today, Tyler Black. He says, for years, I have proven that I am not only elite, I'm beyond elite, honestly. But I have proven that I am the elite of the elite. I am the professional wrestler. I am the man who stands atop of this business. The one who everybody looks up to. The one who everybody worships. I am that franchise player. I am the elite. And now all of you now have to deal with me. The crowd is losing its mind as the debuting Tyler Black has shown up and has basically officially announced that he is part of All Elite Wrestling. Alright, so I just gotta say this. I know you guys probably hate when I'm breaking fourth walls stuff here. Remember I said near the start of the save that I had a list. There was a few people on that list. I've gotten most of them, and a couple of them didn't play out the way I wanted them to, so I let them go. They're off in the world, whatever. But his name was at the top of that list. And when his contract was up, I threw as much as I could at him to get him, and I was able to. So Tyler Black is here in All Elite Wrestling. And it's going to be goddamn interesting to see how he's going to be here in this company. 76 rated promo, very hot stuff here. As this gets, the crowd is going absolutely nuts. The fact that Tyler Black has jumped ship. We are no longer going to be hearing from Seth Rollins as it is now Tyler Black's world. And apparently we all just live in his world. He is the elite. He is the elite of the elite. He is a franchise player. He is the top of professional wrestling, and we'll have to see how it plays out. In case you didn't get it from that promo, he's coming in as a heel, kind of a snarky heel character, and that'll play out as time goes on. But 76 here, really exciting for that, as I am super excited to have him here in AEW and kind of book him from there. So him, and then there's one more person who I have already signed, but have not debuted yet. That's it for us stealing people from WWE. Anybody else that we get at this point will be all people who are, who maybe were in WWE a long time ago, but who we're not specifically stealing from WWE. And there are going to be some people who we let go as time goes on as well. I don't I think I mentioned it on screen, technically on screen, so to speak, but like Austin Creed, for example, just didn't end up working out the way I was hoping for him to. So I believe we let him go. I think his contract came up and I just chose not to renew it. Which is really ironic because, so in this world, we took Austin Creed. WWE then said, you know what? We just don't care about the New Day anymore. Because not only did they let Kofi Kingston's contract expire, which I guess I kind of get. Kofi was a little bit older in this mod, and he's a little bit older, and in this mod he wasn't doing as well. I think he's already starting to decline. But then just a few weeks ago, in-game wise, they let Big E go as well. So as of right now, all 3 members of the New Day are unemployed. They're out working the independent shows. I was like, oh, that's a thing in this universe. So they're out working independent shows. Meanwhile, as I mentioned, or as I showed in the last episode, Braun Strowman is working New Japan. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, so in this world, the New Day are all unemployed out there in the universe. But yeah, so there's Tyler Black. So there's one more person who we took from WWE who we've yet to debut yet, and then that's it. There is 1 or 2 other people who I might consider when their contracts come up, but at this point, I think one of them still has at least another year or so under their contract, and I think another one, it might be another couple of years. So even if I was going to consider it, it wouldn't be anytime soon. So, but I think Tyler Black is obviously going to do well here, and we're going to get to kind of see the non-sports entertainment version of him again too, which will be exciting. So there's that. He's here in All Elite Wrestling. We'll have to see what happens with him and the entire roster. Speaking about, or by the way, before we continue on as well, since we're on this image for a little bit here on this, tonight's episode of Dynamite not really featuring a lot of angles. After this, there is, I think, 3 other angles. Everything else is just matches tonight. It's a match-heavy show tonight. But a lot of the matches are going to be advancing storylines because they're going to have a lot of, big things associated with them. As of tonight, the World Champion is in non-title action. Pac is in non-title action against the House of Truth members, House of Truth's Mark Quinn. So that should be a very interesting matchup. We've got Miro, who will be going one-on-one with a man who we haven't seen in weeks on Dynamite, none other than Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe's back, and he's going one-on-one with Miro, so that's going to be a big Haas match. And we have a lot of other matches on tonight's show as well. That should be really interesting to see. Like this matchup that sees a 63 ratings match that sees Angelico get a surprise victory over Jake Hager in 10:49 by pinfall with the Fall of the Angels. During the matchup, Chris Jericho distracted Jake Hager by, it was one of those like accidental distraction things that led to Angelico getting the victory. 63 rating, 55 from Angelico, 60 from Jake Hager. As we advance that storyline with Jericho, Hager, and Guevara, the Inner Circle is breaking down right now. They're just losing match after match at this point. And it seems to all be because of Chris Jericho, because Jericho just cost Hager this matchup here tonight against Angelico, who, obviously is someone who is good but doesn't have a lot of popularity behind him, who is set to compete in that 6-way ladder match for the International Championship at Double or Nothing in 10 days. So huge victory for him, getting some momentum for him ahead of that ladder matchup. And Jake Hager, former contender for the World Championship, he got defeated here. I mean, granted, you could say it was because of Chris Jericho's interference or the failed distraction, but what is going on here? So something's going on with the Inner Circle, especially with Chris Jericho here. Then after that, MJF goes out and defeats Darby Allin in 10:06 by submission with the Salt of the Earth. 47 from Darby Allin, 51 from MJF, 53 rating for the match itself. Shane Strickland was at commentary talking about his issues with MJF, talking about the international ladder matchup at Double or Nothing. Of course, MJF and Shane Strickland, feuding for months now, are both part of that matchup, so we'll have to see what their interactions end up being during that match. But MJF getting a victory here, and getting some more momentum for him heading into that ladder matchup as well. 53 rating, not too bad there. Then we have a 66 rated segment backstage as Tyler Black is walking backstage. Crowd's going, crowd's popping again because they get to see Tyler Black standing there. When all of a sudden he stops and just kind of has a smirk on his face. camera turns, you know, because it's like focus. It's like one of those things where it's like looking at Tyler Black, like front profile of him, and he stops and smirks, and then the camera just pans around like a 180 degree, and you just see standing right there looking at him with a smirk on his face as well, Jon Moxley. And of course the crowd goes nuts because this is the first time in years that these two have interacted. And Mox kind of walks up to him, you know, to kind of look at each other, but they shake hands. You know, they do shake hands. They admittedly shake hands with each other. Mox says, you know, I heard your comments. The elite of the elite in wrestling, huh? Tyler's like, am I wrong? Am I wrong? Mox is like, you know, maybe once I get done with Cage at Double or Nothing, maybe once I get past him, maybe we'll have to put that we'll have to test that out. Maybe we'll have to see if you're truly the elite of the elite, as it is. And Black just kind of kind of chuckles a little bit and says, if that's what you think that you can do, Mox, if that's what you think. He walks off. So kind of teasing the idea that we might be seeing some sort of a match in the future between these two here in All Elite Wrestling, which would be absolutely crazy. But 66 rating here. I knew I had to do this, especially on Tyler Black's debut night. I knew I had to have an angle with him and Mox, just, you know, kind of teasing their history and all that stuff with each other. But you know, kind of interesting. They did shake hands out of respect, but they didn't seem to really be like, hey, we should buddy up. Like, they're kind of, you know, kind of showing like, hey, maybe we need to fight each other. So kind of interesting to see how that ends up playing out. But yeah, like I said, 66 rating here. Pretty good stuff there. Then after that, we go back to the ring, and Mercedes gets a victory over Roxy in 7:36, that is, by pinfall of the Wheelbarrow Bulldog. 54 for the match, 63 from Mercedes, 25 from Roxy. You know, just Mercedes getting some momentum on her side as well, ahead of that tag match at Double or Nothing. Looking good in the victory. Of course, the last time we saw her in the ring, she was part of the losing team of that 6-woman tag match. So this was kind of a way of getting her some more in-ring momentum, kind of bouncing back from that loss. And kind of, you know, getting her in-ring kind of a little bit more mentally prepared and all that stuff for that tag match at Double or Nothing. Then after that, 66 rated matchup here, as Adam Cole defeats Desmond Xavier in 12-12 by pinfall of the Boom. Really good matchup here. 65 from Cole, 52 from Xavier. Hangman Adam Page was out at commentary table talking about the issues between him and Cole. Says, you know, he wants to have a rematch with Cole, but Cole seems to be continuing to duck him. So he's going to keep getting in his face, keep, you know, bugging him until Cole gives him that rematch. Kind of leaves the commentary table towards the end of the matchup and kind of just stands there looking at Cole. Cole obviously notices that he's there and hits the Boom, gets the 3 count, but the whole time he's getting the 3 count, he's staring right at Hangman Page. So kind of, you know, clearly the issues between those two men are nowhere near being done. But yeah, 66 rating for this matchup. Really good stuff there. Cole got a 65, Xavier the 52. Good to see there. Then we get a 76 here for this. Man, I'm going to jinx it by saying this, but we're doing really good so far here tonight. As we have Cody Rhodes backstage, he's just losing it. He's fuming at this point. You know, he doesn't have Brandy. Brandy's still being held by Jonathan Fatu somewhere. And Steven Regal happens to notice all this going by, and he comes up to him. He's like, listen, man, listen, Cody, I know how you are. Trust me, I've been in the business for a long time. I know how Fatu is. You know, I know what Fatu's doing. I've been a bad guy for many years in the business. I know that he's doing this to get in your head, but you have to stop and think about it. You have to be smart about this. You have to be logical about this. You can't let him get in your head that much. Otherwise, he's going to beat you at Double or Nothing. He's going to be in your head, and he's going to already have you mentally destroyed before that matchup at Double or Nothing. He says, you need to stay focused. You need to stay determined. I've got people out there. I'm trying to help you find Brandy, but you've got to stay focused ahead of that match. If you let yourself go off the rails, he's going to win. Cody's like, yeah, I know. I know. Okay. I know this, Regal. Everybody keeps telling me this. Everybody keeps saying, just stay focused, just stay blah, 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 blah. It's not, I understand, but it's Brandy. I can't let this happen like this. I need her here. And he kind of stops and he's like, maybe Fatu's right. Maybe I am a little too demanding. And he walks out very frustrated. So very interesting to kind of see this other side of Cody, where we're kind of seeing this like slight mental breakdown, slight mental realization of like how he's kind of is. So we're gonna kind of have to see what ends up happening with this heading forward. But 76 here, ahead of that match at Double or Nothing in 10 days. 10 days? 11 days. Next week. Like, I don't know the exact date. I'm pretty sure I have it on Saturday. So then we go back to the ring where we get a 59 rated matchup. The C's at the Thrill Seekers defeating Lay Sex Gods in 10:32 when Andrew Everett pinned Sammy Guevara with a 630 senton after Chris Jericho accidentally wiped out Sammy Guevara by accident. It was one of those things where Guevara had Andrew Everett set up, and looked like he, kind of was holding him for Jericho to come in with the Judas effect. And when he went to go hit the Judas effect, Everett moved out of the way and and wiped out Guevara with the Judas effect. Trevor Lee came in and caught Jericho, sent both of them to the outside, and that's when Everett went up top and hit the 630 senton for the victory. 59 rating here. 49 for Guevara, 55 from Jericho, 53 from Trevor Lee, and 51 from Andrew Everett. Trevor Lee was really off his game, so that kind of sucks. But yeah, Thrill Seekers with a big victory here over, Sammy Guevara and Chris Jericho, as Lay Sex Gods having struggles now. And again, we saw it earlier in the night with Hager accidentally being cost his matchup. Now we're seeing it here with Guevara being cost the tag matchup thanks to Jericho. Like, you gotta wonder what Hager and Guevara are gonna be willing to put up with Jericho right now. I mean, he keeps putting him in these situations that they don't necessarily want to be a part of. He keeps, having this weird mentality of like, oh, everything's all right. Like this whole different like Jericho than what we're used to seeing. And now tonight he's cost his group both of their matches. So we're gonna have to see what that ends up leading to heading forward. But 59 rating here as the Thrill Seekers get a big victory. Then after that, women's match sees Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, defeat Xia Brookside in 9:46 by pinfall or by submission, that is, with a lockjaw after interference from Adam Cole. It wasn't supposed to be interference from Adam Cole, but whatever. It was supposed to be that distraction from Karen Q, as I set up there, but whatever. We have Adam Cole and Britt Baker managing each other. That's why that happened. But yeah, so Karen Q with the distraction on Xia Brookside leads to Baker getting the victory. 53 rating for the match, 49 from Baker, 46 from Xia Brookside. Of course, this continuing that storyline between Baker and Kaylee Ray. Last time we saw these two, Brookside was teaming up with Kaylee Ray to try to help her out against Baker and Karen Q and could not end up getting the job done. So Xia wanted to prove that, that she could help out, that she wanted to kind of prove herself to Kaylee Ray. So she got this match from Steven Regal and unfortunately was unable to get the victory here in a 53 rated matchup. So we'll have to see what that ends up leading to heading forward. Then we get our final non-match of the night as we have a quick interview segment in the ring. Tony Schiavone's in the ring and he introduces both the Bunny and Alexis Kaufman. Of course, the two women fighting for the AEW Women's World Championship at Double or Nothing. Kind of talking to them about that title matchup. Alexis kind of says, hey, I won this championship in the four-way matchup. I have been having to deal with the Dark Order coming after me ever since. Not only just the Bunny, but Rosemary's been, coming after me. Thea Trinidad now has been coming after me. She's like, I want to be done with it. I want to prove myself. I want to defeat the Bunny, prove that I can beat her one-on-one, and then just move on. Just start defending the championship, because there's so many people on the roster I want to defend this championship against. Heck, I want to defend this championship against my friend, Chris Statlander, but I can't do it because I can't get rid of you. I can't get rid of you. She, pointing to the Bunny. She's like, I can't get rid of you out of my life. I can't get you out of my hair. I want to defeat you, be done with you, and then go and defend the championship against everyone else here in this company. And the Bunny just kind of chuckles about this. It says, you will never be done with the Dark Order. You will never be done with me until I decide to be done with you. As long as you hold that championship, and as long as you continue to be a thorn in my side, you will never be done with the Dark Order. This may be a match that we're going to have at Double or Nothing, this little final one-on-one match we're going to have anytime soon. But I will never be done with you while you hold that championship. If I don't win at Double or Nothing, if somehow you retain that championship at Double or Nothing, you will never be done with me, because I will always be watching. I will always be there in the shadows watching you, ready to strike at any time, ready to rip everything from you. And Alexis, meanwhile, this whole time is just getting kind of creeped out by all this. And then the lights flicker before they go off. The crowd pops. What the heck's going on? The lights come back on, and the bunny's just nowhere to be seen. She's just gone. Tony Schiavone and Alexis Coffin are looking around. They're like, what the hell? And the bunny's just gone. She just disappeared. And that's just how the segment ends. They're just like, what the hell is going on? So, very creepy stuff there. As the bunny, apparently, maybe as bad as it sounds, it might almost be better for Alexis to lose at Double or Nothing, because if she wins, it sounds like she's not going to have the bunny out of her hair anytime soon. 59 rating for this though. Pretty good stuff there for that as we build up to that title matchup. Then we get a 65 rated matchup that sees Miro defeat Samoa Joe in 10-23 by submission with a game over. I don't like the idea that this was a submission, but this mod for some reason has a lot more submission finishes than pinfall finishes. So I would rather say that Miro won by pinfall. But he gets a victory here in 10-23, 65 rated for the match. 62 from Miro, 57 from Samoa Joe. Honestly, I don't at the moment have storyline plans for Samoa Joe after he lost in that world title matchup. So he's been more, because he's also a road agent for us. So he's also been doing more road agent stuff for us at this time. But I might have something as the summer goes on in game-wise. But it won't be like a major storyline. It won't be like one of those featured near the top of the card every time. This was more of just, who is somebody who I could put up against Miro that would look very impressive, that would prove that Miro can go out there and defeat people who aren't just smaller guys like Matt Sydal, because that's kind of that's part of the whole thing with this whole storyline as well, is everybody's kind of trying to not pick on Miro, but they're trying to say that the only reason why Miro's looking so dominant right now is because he's taking on a smaller guy. So it was one of those things that, as the commentators kind of explained, that him and CJ Perry went out of their way to ask for this match with Samoa Joe, because he wanted to prove that he can defeat the bigger guys in the company as well. And so he defeats Samoa Joe here, and gets a victory over him. Looking very impressive in that sense. So Miro's still a top star here in the company for sure. Can't go wrong with that. Then we have a 79 rated matchup for our main event, as our world champion is in non-title action and defeats Mark Quinn in 11:52 by pinfall, the corkscrew shooting star press. During the matchup, Jay Lethal went to go hit Pac and accidentally hit Mark Quinn instead, leading to the victory. Pac with the 86, Mark Quinn with the 55. Of course, kind of gaining heat for the storyline ahead of the big title matchup at Double or Nothing between Jay Lethal and Pac. So that's going to be a really good matchup. I have no doubt about that. It'll be a really good matchup. But there you go. So Pac has defeated Isaiah Cassidy recently. He's defeated Mark Quinn recently, or as of tonight. So now, technically, there's only just one name left on that list. So we'll have to see what that match ends up doing at Double or Nothing. Show tonight gets a 74 rating, increasing our popularity in 42 regions. That might be one of our better Dynamites we've ever done. If I'm remembering right, that might be one of our better Dynamites we've ever done. We'll go check that out real quick. That was a very impressive show, honestly. I put a lot of really good matches on the show, and the angles that we ran were all really good as well. Now, granted, most of the angles that we ran on the main show were Tyler Black, but even the women's world title match angle, did really good, all things considered. For the women too, Tony Schiavone was part of it, but for Alexis Kaufman and the Bunny to get a 59 for that segment was pretty good too. So I can't complain about that. But yeah, just kind of waiting for this to load. But yeah, I mean, very good episode of Dynamite as we head towards Double or Nothing. We'll have to see how everything continues to play out. I mean, Tyler Black is here in AEW now, so what's going to be next? What's going to be the first focus for Tyler Black? Is he going to want to go after Moxley? Is he going to want to go after somebody else in the company? I mean, there's a lot of people in this company that he could have dream matches with. One name who wasn't on tonight's show definitely comes to mind. Even if he has his hands full of Double or Nothing right now, so it'll be kind of interesting to see where some of that stuff plays out. For sure. On the night, 546,000 people watching Dynamite. NXT had 1 million people watching. Feels like we have our best viewer night of our series, and NXT just decides to have their best one ever too. So we're still trying to play catch up on NXT right now. They had a 69 rating, nice rating. Saw Society's Rejects defeat Ricochet and Jason Riker in a cage match. Society's Rejects being Tommaso Ciampa and Chris Hero. I mean, that is something. That is certainly something. Yeah, there's that. We will look really quick because I wanted to see top 100s. Okay, so it's not our best show of all time. That belonged to Fyter Fest, our last pay-per-view we ran. But it is our best Dynamite we've ever ran. That's 74. Well, tied for our best. I mean, we had a Dynamite a couple months ago. That was a 74 as well. But still, so that's really good. That is really good indeed. Best matches of all time. Surprisingly, the Pac and Mark Quinn match actually did a point less than the Pac and Isaiah Cassidy match from 2 months ago. Which is weird because I believe Cassidy had a weaker in-ring performance than Mark Quinn did. But whatever. I'm okay with that. But yeah, still really good there. You know, you just continue to look there, and the top 6 matches in our company's history all involve one man who is currently the world champion. So kind of interesting to think about there. Kind of interesting to think about. Top attendances. It was our second highest attended Dynamite though, so there's that. 3,857. We had an episode of Dynamite last month that got 3,920. So it was our second most attended Dynamite ever. TV rating wise, it was our most watched Dynamite ever. 546,000 people watching, jumped way up from the previous one, which was 479,000, and definitely jumped up from the last few weeks, which were a lot lower as well. So there you go. We are doing really well heading into Double or Nothing, which takes place on Saturday. So it'll be next weekend on the channel. It'll be an episode of our college football series that week, because this week probably should have moved it up, honestly, but I don't really want to do 2 pay-per-view weekend, because this week we don't have a Saturday, or we don't have a college football game on Saturday, because in game we have a bye week, so we'll have something else there. But then next week we'll have a college football game, probably in the morning / early afternoon area, and then we'll have Double or Nothing happening later that night. So we'll have to see how that ends up playing out for us. But thank you all for watching. Definitely appreciate it. For this series, we will see you next Wednesday for our Go Home Dynamite for Double or Nothing. And on the channel, we will see you tomorrow for yet another video.